Our daily legend, I Am Not Soul X, gave us a build challenge, and he wanted us to make a cursed item inspired build. Now this posed an interesting build challenge because as part of a channel like this, I need to keep it raw far more often than not, and I don't want to be item specific. So I kind of got to thinking about it, and Hexblade was the obvious choice. But I didn't want to do the obvious. I wanted to do something a little bit different. And I came up with this story concept that I really like. Now it begins with a paladin, and it's your typical paladin, a devotion paladin. You are wanting to rid the world of evil, so you go on this great crusade, but pretty quickly you find that your strength is not enough, and you are facing evils that are just too powerful for you. Well, during this time, a fiend happens to make a deal with you. If you are to take their cursed book and staff, then you can rid the world of these evils. Being the crusader that you are, you accept this deal, and now you're this mix between this holy man, this paladin who never lies, as well as this person who's made a deal with the devil. And I love the contrast between the two, and we even see that contrast mechanically. I love the aesthetic of, in one hand we have our paladin shield with our holy symbol on it, and then in our other hand we have this gnarled black Warlock staff, and on our belt, our black book of Warlock spells. I love the contrast between holy and unholy. So that's the idea. Now let's put all the ingredients together. To start out with our lineage, I wanted it to be a Earth Genasi. The reason why is that we're bonus action light, and Earth Genasis give us an amazing bonus action. On top of that, we're going to be heavily armored, and so having Pass Without Trace is going to help us stealth with the rest of our team, so it's really covering two bases that we want to cover. As for our stats, Charisma is by and large the most important. Then we have Constitution, but we want to make sure we have 15 strength to get that heavy armor. As for our levels, we're going to go Paladin 1, we're going to take the next 3 levels in Warlock, and then we're going to go the rest into Paladin. The first level Paladin is really an investment level. We need to take it to get our heavy armor, but we're also getting our wisdom saves, and it just makes us kind of a solid martial to begin the game with. But things get really juicy with Warlock. We can do a ton with just 3 levels of Warlock. Now, we're going to take Pact of the Tome. Pact of the Tome is important because we have a couple cantrips we need. Specifically, we're going to want Shillelagh, and we're going to want Booming Blade. The cool thing about taking Shillelagh as a Warlock is it counts as a Warlock spell, which means we can use our Charisma. So it's like we can be kind of a budget Hexblade, and now we have this Shillelagh in our hand, and we have Booming Blade to go along with it. Booming Blade's important because we're delaying our extra attack. Booming Blade lets us kind of scale pretty decently, even though we're not getting extra attack until later. As for our invocations, I like Agonizing Blast, and I like the Book of Ancient Secrets. Agonizing Blast gives us a great ranged option, so now we're great in melee, and we're great in range. And the Book of Ancient Secrets is just such a phenomenal utility invocation. Not only are you going to be getting a Find Familiar, but you're going to be getting things like Augury or Ceremony that fit the character of the Holy Man through the Black Book. Again, we're mixing this holy and this unholy together, and I love that. So being able to collect rituals outside of the game makes you an amazing out-of-combat utility caster. Something really cool about taking Pact of the Fiend is we are kind of already tanky and we're still out there doing damage, so the Pact of the Fiend's ability to give us temporary HP every time we drop someone to 0 HP is actually pretty awesome and fits the character build quite well, surprisingly. Now going back into Paladin, we are going to get Smite, which we're not Smite specialists, but it's there and we are going to be attacking in melee, so when the opportunity arises, go for it. As for our ASIs, we definitely got to get our Charisma to maximum. If we have an odd Charisma, then taking Fate Touched is always a great option. And past that, we're going to have amazing auras. We're going to have Aura of Protection, Aura of Courage, and Aura of Devotion. Aura of Devotion and Aura of Courage take care of your Charm saves as well as your Frighten saves, which are basically the mass majority of Wisdom saves, and then your Aura of Protection, of course, takes care of all of their saves. Your saves are phenomenally good. On top of that, we're going to have great AC. Maybe we took the dueling fighting style if we want to do more damage, but maybe we took the defense fighting style. Either way, we're going to be rocking around 20 to 21 AC and dealing good damage to boot. Now, before Improved Divine Smite, there's an interesting discussion between whether extra attack or Booming Blade is better. If they're moving, Booming Blade's definitely better, but if the likelihood is small that they're moving, then probably extra attack. But all of that changes once you get Improved Divine Smite in your later levels. Improved Divine Smite is just going to make your damage output do more per hit, so you want to get as many attacks off as possible. And there may even be an argument if you're looking for more damage output for Polearm Master at these levels, because then you can attack 3 times with your staff. And with that Improved Divine Smite, more attacks is really substantial. So something cool about this build is that we have a shield in one hand, we have a staff in the other hand. The shield with a holy symbol on it counts as our holy symbol, so one of our spellcasting foci. And then on the other hand, we have a staff which counts as an arcane spellcasting foci. So in just our 2 hands, we have a weapon, a shield, and 2 spellcasting focuses all at the same time. I think that's pretty neat. So we really don't struggle at all with, say, one moment casting a Warlock spell and then switching over to a Paladin spell. I love the imagery of our book automatically opening up and shadows coalescing around our staff. Maybe to cast Eldritch Blast, maybe to cast Booming Blade, or maybe it's just Shillelagh. But I like that interaction between the book and our staff. And on the other hand, I like how the oaths play with this character. We're going to be taking the Oath of Devotion. And I like how the Oath of Devotion basically says, I will never lie. So you're not lying about the fact that you've made bad choices, that you are technically potentially damned, but you don't care because you're just trying to make the world a better place. Again, the interaction there is something I really love. So what are we? Well, we're dealing great consistent damage. Whether we're up close or we're far away, we do fantastic turn in and turn out damage. We have great defenses, and not only for us, but for our team. We have high AC ourselves, but the saves we give across the board are phenomenal. I'd say where we kind of suffer is these big spells. We don't have anything to take care of a swarm. We don't have any like massive fight winning spells. All of our spells are just going to be decent. But at the end of the day, I'd say this is a very well-rounded character with a lot of cool mechanics and a lot of fun flavor. I'm a big fan of it. What would you guys do specifically with the cursed weapon prompt? Or if you were doing a devotion fiend multi-class, how would you mix it up for mine? Let me know, comments down below. Now this video was inspired by one of our Patreons. I am not Soul X. Thank you so much for the inspiration and for the support. Big fan. If y'all want to support the channel just like I am not Soul X, consider checking out our Patreon. You get some awesome benefits and you'll probably see your builds up on the channel just like this. But other than that, my friends, I hope you have yourselves an incredible day and I'll catch you on the next one. See you then.